whether it's Shedeur, whether it's Deshaun, or whether it's Dillon.
It get dangerous.
Deshaun and Shedeur had really good spring.
Look, let's be completely honest with each other right now. If you've spent any time scrolling through sports media this offseason, you've probably heard the exact same tired narrative being shoved down your throat. That Shedeur Sanders is just a fifth-round flyer, a social media curiosity, a player whose name generates clicks online but supposedly brings nothing to the actual gridiron. But what happens when the noise stops, the pads finally pop, and the people running the franchise drop an update that completely flips the script? Front offices across the AFC North are staring at their strategy boards in total disbelief because the reality coming out of Berea doesn't match the mainstream narrative at all. Think about the psychological warfare happening inside that Cleveland locker room. You have a veteran quarterback in Deshaun Watson, a massive financial investment carrying years of high expectations. And then you have Shedeur, the ultimate algorithm, the player everyone loves to talk about, walking onto the practice field and commanding the huddle with a level of poise that has coaches talking behind closed doors. Head coach Todd Monken didn't mince words when addressing the state of the quarterback room, making it crystal clear that both Deshaun and Shedeur put in elite work throughout the spring. When a head coach openly embraces a young, hungry roster and puts the keys to the offense on the line, you have to ask yourself a hard question. Are the old power dynamics in Cleveland about to shatter before September even arrives? Let's break down what is really happening behind the scenes as the team transitions into camp, straight from the words of the coaching staff itself.
And it was there, the start of it. And
Right,
for whatever reason, us as coaches and as an organization, we didn't take the next step. And then you go through the last few years where, you signed Deshaun and he's gotten hurt. And that hasn't come to fruition. And so you go through that. And I really believe we're right. It's a great time to be the head coach of Cleveland Browns because I really believe.
Monken pulled back the curtain on the trajectory of this organization, noting that they aren't just looking for a quick fix for a single autumn. They are building a culture designed to change the identity of the franchise for the next decade. He laid out the raw truth about past seasons, how the organization failed to take that crucial next step, how injuries to Deshaun derailed previous campaigns, and how the front office had to pivot toward a younger, more dynamic foundation. That isn't just coach speak. That is a clear acknowledgement that the old guard is being evaluated under an entirely different microscope. And that brings us directly to the quarterback room battle that everyone is whispering about. As Monken addressed the room,
whether it's Shedeur, whether it's Deshaun, or whether it's Dillon,
It get dangerous.
Our quarterback situation, you've got to find a way to right that.
Or Dillon.
And I do think Deshaun and Shedeur had really good springs. So I think
He made it explicitly clear how they view the depth chart. Whether it's Deshaun, whether it's Shedeur, or whether it's Dillon Gabriel, the mandate is simple. Find a way to write the right chapter for this offense. But notice who is commanding the daily attention. While the media tries to reduce Shedeur to a meme or an internet sensation, the actual football staff is evaluating him on live reps, precision, and leadership. When a rookie fifth-rounder handles the mental load of an NFL offense without blinking, it creates an unavoidable tension in the building. Veterans notice, defenders notice, and the coaching staff has no choice but to let the competition play out on merit, regardless of what the critics on television are screaming.
and so I just think it's the right time for us to keep working to ascend and to try and build a consistent winner that, people ask all the time, like, as an older coach, like, why would you trade Myles Garrett? The guy would want to win this year. It's like, no, really my job ought to be that in 20 years from now.
Monken expanded on the long-term vision for building a sustainable, consistent winner and establishing a true working-class culture in Cleveland. He emphasized that the goal isn't just catering to immediate pressure, but establishing a standard where the team is built to ascend for years to come. And let's address the elephant in the room, the stats that the media loves to weaponize against him. All offseason, the internet has been flooded with charts and graphs about expected points added, trying to convince you that Shedeur was a liability whenever the ball left his hands. But if you actually dig beneath the surface and look at the real context, like performance inside the pocket and execution on crucial third down money downs, the math tells a completely different story. When you factor in the abysmal protection and questionable play calling from a brutal rookie campaign, Shedeur's numbers on high leverage downs actually sit right alongside established league veterans and Super Bowl champions. So why are the critics so desperate to keep him in a box? Because when the raw data exposes the lies, the narrative completely falls apart. Look at the rest of this roster, too. This isn't just a one-man show, it's an absolute powerhouse loaded with young talent on both sides of the ball. With explosive playmakers like Denzel Boston and a terrifying defensive core featuring elite pieces across the board, the standard in Cleveland is shifting from a rebuilding project to a legitimate contender. Every single rep in training camp carries a career-defining weight, and the pressure on the coaching staff to manage this explosive quarterback room is reaching a boiling point. When you look at the macro picture, Monken's vision isn't about appeasing the short-term noise. It's about establishing a relentless identity where production dictates playing time. If a veteran like Deshaun Watson is going to hold on to that starting job, he has to fend off a surging, hyper-focused challenger who treats every single practice rep like a Super Bowl audition. And if Shedeur keeps stacking these impressive days together, the front office is going to face a franchise-altering decision sooner than later. So here is my question to you, and I want your unfiltered thoughts down in the comments below. If Shedeur continues to outplay expectations and forces the hand of this front office, do the Browns have the courage to ride the hot hand, or will old loyalties ruin the future of the franchise? Drop your take below, hit subscribe.